We are back, and so is SuperCoach for season 2026. It's your boy Dossy here on the eve of Christmas Eve, but as the Phantom always says, Christmas has come early. Team Pick is dropped for SuperCoach Plus subscribers, meaning that we can pick our teams for the first time for season 2026 with those new prices, positions, and fresh draftees available to select. I'm, of course, back for a third-year breakout season on the official SuperCoach podcast, but I am joined by fellow Phantoms Lair regular. That is Simeon Thomas-Wilson, also known as Five Names. Welcome back, Sim.
Thank you, Dossy. Good to be back for the first hit of the season. As a more experienced player, I get to choose when I come back, while you're, as the first to 4 year players, you're due back day one of pre-season. So it's good to, I can come back when I want and just do what I need to do to get the win of it in pre-season before the real stuff starts.
That's right, mate. Yes, you are a seasoned veteran of the game. Another seasoned veteran of the game is joining us, this time from the Melbourne Crew, the co-star of last year's show, Breaking Even with our Peyton. But it's not our Peyton, it is our man, Patch. Welcome back to the show, Patch. How are you?
Dossy, delighted to be here. I think this is my Lair debut somehow. So we've crossed clubs. We've come in first day of pre-season at a new club, hoping to make a good impression. Whispers about the leadership group, but I'm not about that. I'm just about putting my best foot forward and, just focusing on getting a game round one. So delighted to be here and delighted to have SuperCoach back open. What a time of year.
I do hate to break it to you, though, not an official Lair episode, this one. Phantom won't let us do that. So you're still yet to make your Lair debut. Much like Henry Hustwaite, you're going to have to bide your time for a game, I think, on that front there, Patch. But good to have you on board nonetheless.
Maybe someone will offer me for Zach Merritt at some stage during the year then.
That's right. Well, reminder everyone, you can watch this show on Code Sports YouTube channel, and remember to like, subscribe if you are watching along this early in the preseason. You can also find us on all your podcast platforms. Now, just a quick bit of housekeeping before we get into the main part of the show, but you can access Team Picker just quickly by going to your team from last year. If you did play, you have to have played last year to get access. So head to your team from last year, go to either your homepage or where your team was. There'll be a little icon above saying 2026 Team Picker if you are a SuperCoach Plus subscriber. If you're not, jump on board. It's $29.95 for the year, and that covers all things like break-evens inside the season, score projections, whole bunch of other stats as well, plus access to the Team Picker for about another month or so before it opens up for everyone else. So the platform will open for everyone sometime late January, but keep an eye out for that. But we are going to be talking all about our first picked players on this episode. I'm going to cover cheapies, some premiums, some mid-price picks, and of course, because we do have five names on the show from the Lair, we'll be picking our pew-pew, which is a point of difference as well this early in the preseason. But refresher quickly, Patch, before we start, what is the basics of SuperCoach? Has anything changed in the offseason that we need to be wary about, or are we just play on game as usual?
We are play on game as usual. If this is your first time here and you're still, 8 minutes in to a SuperCoach podcast and you don't know what SuperCoach is, well done. Well done for sticking around. Basically, you pick 23 players on your field, a squad of 30, go through the season. The rules are the same as last year. We've got a flex. We've got the positions are all the same in terms of the number of players. Salary cap is still $10 million total, which is far too little. And every time I bring it up to the Phantom or to Al to say, hey, can we just have 15? They tell me to go away and go suck a lemon. But yes, flex means your worst scoring player will drop off each week, and the bye situation, same as last year. So if it's a bye week, if any clubs have a bye, it'll be best 18 on your field instead of best 22.
Beautiful. Yeah, old habits die hard there, though. Patch, you did say 30 players total. It is now 31 with that flex 31 rule introduced last year, but nearly flawless. So, yeah, all the same, we can jump straight back in and let's talk about our first option. I'm going to throw...
You're going to edit that afterwards. That won't be in it. This won't be in it, me saying that you're editing it. It'll be fine.
There's no editing in December. Don't you worry about that, Patch. We are going straight through to the end. No edits required. But let's jump into our cheapies, and we're going to throw Simeon Thomas-Wilson under the bus first to get his first cheapie picked for season 2026. Who was the first player you picked there in your cheapie slot?
Oh, sweet. This is easy. Jagger Smith, Carlton. Just easy. I reckon just lock it in.
Yeah.
What do you say
Just
anymore?
a huge. Yeah, so I mean, we could just mention why he's so cheap. He was the third pick in the draft last year, but had the preseason injury, the ACL, last season. So you just see him primed, ready to go this year, and lock him in on field. Sim?
Yeah, Carlton. You've seen the footage of him in his recovery now that he's back in full flight, looking good. Carlton needs speed in their midfield this year. It's probably going to be a very good rookie pick last year. Sometimes with these, knee injuries or, serious injuries with young kids, it just gives them a year to, get their body ready. So he's going to be ready to go.
Yeah, I think he's looked to guys like Will Ashcroft and Christian Petrarca as inspiration for players that have come back from early season ACL tears. And yeah, ultra professional. Keen to see him playing this season. Was excited last year, although I am a bit worried as a West Coast fan that we ultimately traded him away a year ago.
Matt Owies looked great last year. I don't know what you're
still
talking
hurt.
about.
I'll never recover from that, but look, I might recover with one of my cheapies to come. But yeah, also we do have some ownership number. We might mention a few later in the show, but I will just reveal now. Jagger Smith, the number one highest owned player this early in Team Picker. That is some exclusive numbers we've got. You can't see ownership numbers on Team Picker, but yeah, Jagger Smith, obviously a huge popular pick to start the season. Patch, who's your first cheapie pick? Now, I called it cheapies because we can pick either rookies or just rookie price players. It doesn't have to just be first-year players, just like we saw with Jagger.
Well, mine is a first-year player. I'm surprised he wasn't named captain of the Essendon Football Club, but Dyson Sharp, come on down. Number 2, right behind Jagger Smith in the midfield at rookie stonks. He'll play round 1. He's been playing Sandful for 2 years. He'll be good. Enough said.
I love that. I mean, if we had Phantom on the show, I'm sure he'd be raving about him as an SA boy. Had some massive junior numbers. So
we love junior numbers.
We do. Well, I'm going to go.
Fun fact, sorry to cut in. Saw Dyson Sharp in the members area at the Adelaide Test recently. So yeah, maybe we just need that.
Love that. Well, as a Weagles Nuffy, I'm going to have to jump in here, and I always am a big defender.
Picking someone from your own club, Dossy, shameless. Unbelievable.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I'm a big believer always in generally, unless it's a key position player, picking the number 1 pick in the draft. I tend to do it every season. Generally, we see great return, even if it's sort of an unknown draft. Usually that number 1 pick tends to pay off. Willem Dersma from the mighty West Coast Eagles, 203.5k. Midfielder only. I think he'll play in a variety of positions this upcoming season. I'm sure we'll have a rookie Bible at a later date on the podcast and dropping soon on Code Sports for a written piece to read there. But Willem Dersma, I think he'll just come in and play an immediate important role. Likely, I don't think he'll be straight into the midfield. He's got a bit of a wiry frame. It's probably going to be a bit off the half-back line, maybe some stints in the midfield. I think they'll protect him early on, but I still think he'll see plenty of the peel and they'll want the ball in his hands early in his career. So Willem Dersma, also a popular pick this early in the preseason, but I love picking that number 1 pick. And Willem Dersma straight in. 5 names?
Love it. No, that's good. Especially if he plays half-back. That's what you want. You don't want him coming in midfield. Just get that cheap ball.
Yeah, there's some word that Tom McCarthy, a favourite rookie mid-year pickup from last year, might be moving sort of more into that midfield, and he does have a bit of a bigger frame, so perhaps that opens up a bit of a role down back for Willem Dersma to sort of cut his teeth at AFL level before he builds into that frame. So, yeah, love the pick. 5 names. Who's your second?
All right, I'm going to go a little bit different. It's hopefully not too pew-pew, but it's another Weagles boy for you. Devon Robertson.
It's finally Devon season.
It could be.
So excited.
Let's go. Like when you talk about guys, and you're like, he's coming from Brisbane, wants a chance. So surely he's going to get one at West Coast. He's dirt cheap. Like I can't remember actually how cheap is he, Dossy? He's like 117 or something like that.
He's 119.9k and he's available as a forward. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, those are. I mean, this is always contingent on seeing how his preseason goes and that kind of stuff. He may not be in the team, but at the moment, it's kind of like just really appealing to me. He's coming across from Brisbane, searching for more opportunities. You see, he can play. Right? He can play. And then Eagles need some quality, so he could actually get a bit of a run there.
Yeah, numbers in the VFL. Obviously, we said we love the junior numbers in SuperCoach world, but we also love our state league numbers. And Devon Robertson, while he hasn't been getting opportunities at Brisbane Lions in the senior team, before moving over, he was averaging 100 plus in multiple years playing at VFL level, including last year. He averaged 118 SuperCoach points at VFL level for the Lions, 26 disposals, 13 contested possessions, 6 tackles. I think he'll come across, provide some leadership, and he was sort of always tagged to come across, wanted to stay and see if he could get into a premiership side, but I reckon you're right, Sim. He's going to have an immediate impact. And when he's available as a forward, and he's probably going to play midfield, you'd imagine, that's just a lay down Mazet. And another Weagle. Happy to pick plenty of mighty West Coast Eagles in my team. I might have several in my starting side already. All right, Patch, who have you got?
I've got plenty of very left field guys I'm looking at in the rookie bracket, but that is a discussion for another day. I'm going to give my Andy Moynies Wakefield rant another time, but Zeke Hewland just simply has to be in everyone's starting sides. I think Braden Fiorini saw the writing on the wall watching the VFL last year, and seeing Hewland tear it up and be like, well, if this guy's coming to the Suns next year, he's taking my spot anyway, so I'm going to go to a bad club and join the leadership group there. So Hewland will play, I'm sure, pretty much every game he's fit, and he will be straight into my side with that DPP. Lock him in.
Yeah, can you see how he goes at the Suns? The Errol Goulden comparisons in the draft for me just immediately that you had me at Errol Goulden comparison, so he's also in the squad. My final player in this cheapie bracket now, not a rookie, but I think would he be third or fourth year now, is an SA boy as well, $168,400 forward line, Mateus Philippou.
Yes, I had him as well, Dossy, on my list.
Down. Yep, so I don't care where he plays, whether it's midfield or forward. I think given Jack Steele is out of the picture, there's surely some opportunities in the midfield, but they do have Sam Flanders coming to play midfield there. Sounds like Nazai's going to be a permanent midfielder this year as well. And I mean, they've got Paddy Dow to slot in as well there. So there's competition for spots, but hopefully Philippou can really get his body right, which is really the main red flag at this point in his career. Just getting his body right, getting on the park. And really, we've only seen a limited sample size of him actually being able to produce big scores as well. So I think at 168K, though, there's really... It can't go wrong if he plays forward or if he plays mid. He'll still make at least a bit of cash. And the upside there for him to play as an inside midfielder and pop some big scores is just too good to pass up. So I think really, if he's right to go round one, he should be one of these guys that is just about in most people's teams, and he's in the top 10 for most popular picked at the moment, so that makes sense. Now, I do want to add a little bonus one in here because we have the great five names here, SA reporter over here at the Advertiser. How's Will Brodie tracking this preseason? He's a name that we're all looking at as well, one of the huge popular names. 119.9K now at Port Adelaide after having a great season at Freo, but only one really great season just a couple of seasons ago. Do we think he's going to be in that frame to play in the midfield for Port Adelaide this upcoming season, Sim, at this early stage in preseason?
Well, seeing him up close, he's a lot skinnier than I thought he'd be. Like, for a big body midfielder, he's looking really lean at the moment, which might be a good sign. I think Port put out something from Josh Carr yesterday, and he was saying that Will Brodie's going to come in and be a big body midfielder with Ollie Wines, and he kind of got William Drew as well. So I don't know if it's going to be too many in there. He kind of spoke about increasing the competition and depth in that area of the ground. So I mean, it seems like to me, reading between the surface that I don't know if it's a lot for round one. I find it hard to see how he's going to get in the team at this stage, but I could be wrong.
One to wait and see in the preseason. I do hope you're wrong, five names. I hope he's straight in there, locked in. But yeah, one that we're just going to have to monitor this preseason. Premiums. Let's talk premiums. Who were the first big dogs locked in your team? I'm going to throw to you first, Patch. Who was your first heavy price player, let's say, that is just locked away straight for you?
Nazai Wankanen Miller. I don't think more needs to be said. Like, just send a tweet. He's picked. He's good. He'll continue to be good. He'll play midfield. Just lock him in and have no regrets about it.
Yeah, probably your Harry Sheasel of last year, although Harry Sheasel probably started a bit slower than we hoped, but he's a guy, Wangan Miller, not much more needs to be said. Simeon, do you think as well? Is he locked in for you?
Yeah, he's one of my guys that'll be locked in.
Yeah. Well, who's your first premium that you want to talk about then?
We actually just mentioned him there, Harry Sheasel. Like, he's a forward. And I always think that's the issue last year. It's issue this year. The forward stats are not great. Like, you got maybe a truck who's going to be should be pretty good at Gold Coast, but you still don't know. Like, the forwards, especially when it comes like, your real primos, there's not many great forwards out there, in my opinion, and I think Sheasel's the best of the lot, easily.
Yep. I think he's probably going number one in plenty of drafts as well, due to that positional scarcity in the forward line that you're talking about. Mine is Tristan Sherry, 687K, paying the big bucks for the big dog.
Not Brody Grundy? That's not how you say Brody Grundy's name.
Yep. Interesting call. I'm going with Sherry. Also, there is some buy rounds, and if you listen to it in a second, the early start to the season, the first month, is incredibly juicy. Dossy doing some rare fixture analysis nice and early in the preseason this year, but Tristan Sherry obviously coming off the 127 average, went above 148 times in the season, including 3 times above 180, including the last 2 rounds, I think it was last season. So incredible numbers. He can be your permanent captain every single week, and especially if you're going to fade one of the bigger players like a Bont, say, who's in that price range. Tristan Sherry, I think, is your safe permanent captain. Now, look at this first 4 games for them next season, North Melbourne. Don't have that early buy round to worry about, which we'll talk about that a little bit at the end. But look, it's very early to be looking at buy rounds, but they don't have that to worry about in North Melbourne. They've got Port Adelaide, West Coast, Essendon, and Carlton to start the season. So, I mean, if we look at the matchups from last year, those were some of the juiciest to play against. So I could see Sherry really feasting early on. And if you've got the C on him, you're probably looking pretty well early in the season. But who's your second player, Patch?
I think it's going to be Zach Butters in a contract year. Sorry to pinch the SA boy off you again, but he started the season's fantastic. You've mentioned openings. The season he plays, it's North and the Eagles early. I don't have it in front of me, but yeah, we'll be playing for the biggest contract the AFL's ever seen, and by gum, he's going to do everything in his power to earn it, and that's enough for me to lock him in.
Any insights early on Butters, how he's looking this preseason, 5 names?
Yeah, he was going to be my guy that So because he had some surgery in the off season, but it was just more like to relieve some groin discomfort that he carries throughout the whole year. So, like, if he was like, if he doesn't have to worry about the groins, like, he could just be massive. I think he's going to be massive anyway. That's what happened there, you saw old Ken, who's actually now going to be on Fox Footy. He was chatting to the hipster, and he said he'd actually put money on Butters to win the Brownlow this year, now that he can. So that's going to be that's a good sign, I guess.
Jeez, that's massive. Who's your player then that you've got? Butters got taken away, but who's another premium that you're looking at?
A little bit left field, but a guy like Caleb Saron.
He was mine.
Oh, yes. Yes,
he was mine.
Yes. No, I think Saron's going to be, I think just a good player, can absolutely rack it up, Yeah.
Unreal. Yeah, I was kind of looking into him. Had a low average, like he's 570K this season. So if you're looking at like a Butters is 80K more, a Wanganeen Miller 50K more, and Sarong, I just put Sarong in that level of premium player. And I was just checking out some of the contested numbers before, not to get too deep in our research at this point in the season, but the top contested players in the AFL and the leading contested possession players, he's up there, and nobody else sort of in that bracket that he's in averaged under 110. Like, he averaged, I think, the second most contested possessions in the AFL. And when you're getting contested pill, generally you're going big in SuperCoach. So he was second behind Tom Green, and all the guys up the top in this contested possession category. You got Tom Green, obviously, Matt Rao, Tristan Sherry, Max Gawn, George Hewitt, who went big last year. Like, these are all players that sort of are staples from last season, and all kind of went 110 plus from memory. So I think Caleb Sarong's definitely got some upside. So I love that one, Sim.
I was just looking very quickly his fixtures as well to begin the season. Geelong first up is hard, do that, but then he's playing teams like Melbourne, who should be struggling a bit now after losing a couple of guys. He's got a Richmond there. Crows don't tag. We know that. Crows midfield can get beaten up at times, so they do that. He's got West Coast as well, so he's actually got a decent little run of fixtures as well.
I love it. I'll just briefly mention, I won't sort of touch on this one because I spoke about Sarong, but Errol Goulden is probably the other one that I could see in that potentially underpriced category. Sort of, obviously was injured for half the year last year, came back, could be priced under his value, similar to Sarong, averaged close to the 115 just the year before. But yeah, had an injury interrupted preseason and obviously only played half the year. So Goulden could bounce back in a big way for Sydney this coming season. Let's get into some mid-price picks, and it is one of my favourite. The mid-prices, always going a little bit rogue, and we always have to squeeze a few of these guys in. You can't just have a team full of premiums. So 5 names. Let's start with you this time. A mid-price pick to get us going.
Yes, the easiest one. Sam Flanders. Your boy. That's easy.
No, you stole him.
I don't know, but that's the easiest one. That's what, yeah. I mean, we've seen what he can do. He's going to St Kilda on some good coin. He's going to play midfield. Yeah, he should be the easy pick.
Yeah, easy one. Patch, have you got another easy one for us?
I've spoken about him endlessly last year, so you just got to go back to any episode of the Breaking Even with Old Peyton pod to hear me waxing lyrical about Jasper Fletcher. Just super consistent, super reliable. Had a stretch in the middle of the year where I think he didn't dip below 89 for nearly 10 weeks. I think he's great. Big watch on if Kitty Coleman is back and how that backline looks next year, but I think he's ready to just kind of step up a little bit more and just bump that average, even if it's just 5 or 10 points, iron out some of the couple of games he had that were 50s and 60s. He's ready to pop, I reckon, and at 470k, I'm happy to jump on board.
Oh, Fletcher was going to be my pew-pew, one of them.
Yeah, I'm just saying, we're not even at the pew-pew yet. So we've found someone to rival you 5 names.
I know, mate. I'm obsessed. I mean, like Patch, I'm obsessed with Jasper Fletcher as well. He is so good. We're good.
Okay.
Good. Fire up the pew-pew guns early.
All right, one that maybe I need to consider. I'm outnumbered here. He had not crossed my thought pattern here. There's plenty of other mid-prices that I'm keen for, but I love it. I love having another name thrown into the mix. My one is one of the more popular selections, but Haydn Young, 389,000, already one of the most popular picks in Team Picker, but for absolutely great reason. I think do not overthink this one. If he's healthy this preseason, he averaged over 100 in just a tad over 70% time on ground just the year before last. A point scoring machine. Now, you guys will love this. Get the quote card ready for Dossy nice and early this preseason. Haydn Young averaged more SuperCoach points per minute than Max Gawn, Tristan Sherry, Zach Butters, and Nick Dacos last season, and was only slightly behind the Bont. His problem is actually just playing the game. So if he can get out on the park and play some reasonably big minutes or just good enough to get that points per minute going, this guy is a SuperCoach scoring stud. He does it all. He's kind of like your Ed Richards of last year that can just sort of go to that 110 immediately. He is the class, the polish, everything that Fremantle needs, and he's a guy that they want to play in the midfield long term. And the moment that body's right, if it is this preseason, he is just going to be the easiest pick alongside a Sam Flanders sim that is going to be a must-have in SuperCoach 2026.
Yep, agree. He was on my list as well.
Yeah. Who's your second then, Sim?
All right. Hopefully, this could be revenge to Patch here. I reckon, and this is a bit of a risky one because we have been hurt in the past. But geez, Darcy Parish is a good price for a guy who has done a lot. Has always scored very well in the past and is looking quite good in the Trat Watch videos that I've seen so far. I think, Essendon, who knows how the midfield is going to look, but we know that Darcy Parish can be almost an A grade, pretty much an A grade midfielder when he's up and running, and he's very, very underpriced.
Yep, you've pinched him. You've got me back. He was my next one. For a guy priced to average, high 80s, he can, even if he's kind of subpar or like average for him, his game is so SuperCoach friendly that he could average 105 without blinking if he's fit. Big if, but if he's there round one and hasn't had too many hiccups, then I reckon you pretty much got to pick him.
Yeah, another guy with a game built around contested possessions. I was actually looking at just those numbers from last year, and obviously he only played, 3 games, I think, but he was in the top 10 for contested possessions, even on, incredibly limited season that he had. So he's one for the watch list, but he's hurt me so many times that I don't think I can do it. Both of you guys. So it's interesting that he's both in your plans already this season. So who do I go? Oh, you, Patch, have you got another name for us?
Well, I've got a pivot now that Parrish is gone, but Cozzy Pickett has been reportedly training. It's December, so of course he's in line for more midfield minutes, but with Oliver and Petrarca gone, there's such a huge vacancy in that middle. They've got some more forward help. Maybe it's time for, like Latrell Pickett comes in, maybe Colton Tholstrup finally finds his straps. They've got hopefully enough up forward now that he can be unleashed perhaps as a mostly full-time midfielder, and if he is, then I want every cent of him in my side, every little inch. Of Cozzy Pickett at under 500k could be fantastic, but if he's playing small forward in preseason games, then I'll give him a miss.
Yeah, Melbourne's just the biggest watch for me preseason. There's probably a bunch of names. Won't ruin all the names that we'll be looking at because we've got so many more podcasts this preseason, but there's so many names that I'm looking at. That's a good one up forward when we are sort of looking for those forward value players and also the premium category. My mid-price pick, my second one here, I was trying not to go full Nuffy in episode 1, but it has to be Harley Reid at 381k. He's mid-only this year, but I was flabbergasted to see his season average of just 70. That's 10 points lower than his rookie year. So he's coming into his third season. He's priced at 10 points lower than his rookie season. We all know last season there was a fair bit said about his fitness early days in the preseason. He's already cutting a far better shape this season, I would say, and heading into his third year. West Coast has got some actual veteran help around him. Look, it's not your household names, but it is you guys like your Dev Robinson, your Finn McRae, hopefully to help out in a bit bigger bodies, bit more veteran. You've got Bren Starcevic coming into the back line. So I think he'll just slot straight into the midfield, play a lot of big midfield minutes, and his body being a little bit more ready for the AFL rigor, I think he'll have a huge third-year breakout. And priced at 70, it is hard to fit in midfielders in the mid-price category, but priced at 70, he's minimum going 90, and there is 100-plus upside for Harley Reid. So look out for the guaranteed third-year breakout, I'm calling it, for Harley Reid.
There's your quote card. Guaranteed third-year breakout for Harley Reid. And until he stops losing points for giving the crowd birds, then I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see.
It's not even a hot take. It's not even a hot take. All right, I think it is time to move on to the best part of the show. And 5 names. You are known on the lair for doing pew pew, which is the point of difference picks. We'll have to hand it to you to reveal your first pew pew of season 2026.
So Jasper Fletcher was my second guy actually, so it came up with 2. But the first guy could be the SA. You do see them all more time in you do see more of them, I guess, as we go to Trackwoods. But Miles Bergman is still a defender. He's going to play midfield. He's going. Josh Carr. They put out the thing yesterday with Josh Carr, and Josh Carr said he's looking forward to seeing Bergman, lock down a midfield role. Like he's going to play pretty much pure midfield. He might go back in defence. He'll go forward. It could be like a Jordan Dawson. Like he's a Jordan Dawson. If you want a comparison, and he's priced 447,000. Still pretty good value. I think Bergman is and he can store. Like, he's got a game that should be able to translate to storing well. So, yeah, that's my pure Bergman. Going to play midfield.
Yeah, we're looking for players that can go into a different role in defence. Usually that's what we're looking for, either a distributing halfback that gets those kick-ins, and hopefully there's a few of those that emerge in the preseason as well. But other than that, we're looking at guys that can play a bit of midfield, up that scoring. Averaged, 83 last year, like you said, 447K. Patch, any interest there? And I think for a hot minute there, he was actually an option for us last season. He went on a stretch of about a month, averaging over 100 and looking really good in that role.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen enough of body of work, I think. And yeah, having read Sims reporting this morning, talking about, like, Josh Carr was glowing about him, saying that, him and Horn Francis would be the 1-2 punch. Or at least it sounds like that he's looking at going forward, and I'm all aboard. Just lock him in.
Unreal. We've got a few Port players loaded up into our squad already as well. Now, Patch, you've already revealed a bit of a pew-pew earlier, but you must be coming in hot. Who's your debut pew-pew?
I should have saved Jasper Fletcher, really, is what I should have done.
Sim would have got in first, though, by the sounds.
No, I've still
possibly. No, I think he's got Bergman locked away, and rightfully so. But I am going to just, if we, Nuffle episode, obviously, based on the precedent you're setting as host, Dossy. So I'm going to go with another Essendon player, another kind of mid-price guy, another guy on the way back from injury who could be even riskier than Darcy Parish, but I reckon could average more if his body holds up. We've got new fitness staff. The trade request that wasn't a request to Brisbane fell apart. Jordan Ridley at 420K this year could average 115 if it goes right. The ball will spend a lot of time down there. There's no Nick Martin to steal his kickouts. I reckon he could have a really good year if he's not playing key defence, if Mackay and Reid stay fit. Again, there's so many ifs in this that it could all fall apart, before the New Year. We're recording this a few days before Christmas, but he's one I am really keeping a very, very close eye on.
He's already done a hammy too this preseason, hasn't he? He actually has.
No, that was Langford did. Oh no, maybe he did. There's too many already.
He actually has already done a string this preseason.
Oh, well, no, there's still plenty of time in preseason. Don't worry.
Yeah, there was a report. It was, obviously this was late November report by Jay Clark. It was right when Nick Martin got ruled out. So it was Langford and Ridley. Ridley did his hammy yet again.
Again, water is wet. Like, the sky's blue. Jordan Ridley's going to do a hammy at some stage, but if he can average 115 before then you're laughing. Maybe you're not. I don't know. But there we go, shooting from the hip, Jordan Ridley.
Yes. No, we love that. I mean, he's a guy in that sort of similar bracket. There's a lot of guys between 400 and 500K. I'm looking forward to the mid-priced episode in future weeks because there's so many temptations. Episode. There's so many temptations in those price brackets. Now, I'm going to really round out our Adelaide heavy show with one final pew-pew from Adelaide. Any guesses, Sim, who I'm going to go with here?
It's either Dan Curtin or Josh Rochelle.
Is it
Dan Curtin? Point of difference. Pew-pew! Mid-only available this year, but looking at his centre bounce numbers from last year, he had under 5% of centre bounces. So obviously playing as a wing, which is a pretty tough position to score in SuperCoach. The only guys that can really thrive in that position, well, it's pretty much one that's a must-have or, in that sort of category is Errol Goulden. He's the only real one that can go 100 plus playing on a wing. So last season, we only saw 4 players average over 90 that were listed as wings, which were Errol Goulden, still side bottom, Braden Fiorini, mind you, and Jack Crisp. So I'm looking at post-buy last year, though. Dan Curtin was averaging 89.8, so right on the 90. So he is framing as an elite wingman already in his second year of AFL football, is it not? Second or third? Coming into this year, I think there's already reports he's looking thick, looking strong, ready for a huge breakout coming up this year. And when I looked at the midfield mix, we'll we'll rely on our Adelaide reporter Sim for a bit of insight here, but do we think they're going to rinse and repeat what they did last year, going out in straight sets and trying it? They even threw Rory Laird back into the midfield mix in the finals because they couldn't find an avenue. You've had Matt Crouch retire. You've only got guys like Sam Berry, Pete Ling. Rankin surely spends a bit more time in there, but do we see Dan Curtin go in there as an inside beast, nearly 200 centimetres in there, alongside Jordan Dawson?
Yeah, no, he'll get more midfield time around centre bounces. Yeah, that will happen. Also, you get, I think he's going to come on a wing. Cal Archie can also play on a wing. He's come from Brisbane, so that can kind of free him up a little bit. He can put some other guys out there. No, he's going to play more midfield time.
Does that then mean to the flow-on effect of Sid Draper's season finally kicking into effect when he's not the sub in 8 of his 10 games or whatever?
Yeah.
Draper's, but I think Draper's still could be a bit of a slow burn. I think they're very wary of him not being the answer, because he's on his second year. When he gets in there, gets time, he's going to be very good for them because he's really quick, gives them something they don't have. But I think it's going to be Curtin has come back. He looks massive. He's tall, but now he looks huge. So he should, I think he should be getting more midfield time. I think that's the plan. And that's why they couldn't, Crows tried to get Petrarca, asked a question of a bunch of other guys, and they weren't able to get a midfielder in. So they're going to back in the internal growth, as they say, internal development. And Curtin's at the top of that list almost.
Yeah. That his growth from year 1 to year 2. Remember, everyone was saying, they've wasted this pick here. What have they done? They're not even giving him opportunities. It's not going to happen. And then he comes back, and I think it's gone from year 1 to year 2. The progression to becoming, as I said, to the back half of the year being essentially an elite wingman in the competition in the second half of the year. If he can take yet another leap into year 3. Let's just say I'm trying to get him in all my dynasty leagues, all my keeper leagues, just everything, because I think the Dan Curtin breakout is coming this season. So that is my pew. Now, just before we wrap up this first return episode of the SuperCoach official podcast, I was just going to mention a few of the popular players and exclusive data from Team Picker. Thanks to the devs for throwing us this data. So a few other names that we didn't mention throughout the show. So we've mentioned these are the top most popular picks: Jagger, Harry Sheasel, Sam Flanders, Tristan Sherry, Zach Butters, and Isaiah. So we spoke about all those guys. Connor Rosie slotting in at 7. So another player that people are very keen, available as a defender again this season. Matthias Filippo, 8. Dyson Sharp, couple of rookies. Liam Reedy, who Chloe, our resident Carlton Nuffy on the show occasionally last season as well, is big on as probably that R3 option for us this year. Kadeem Coleman is one. Do we all go back there again, Patch?
Who knows? Ask me once we see him in a practice game. But until we see him run out a couple of full length intra clubs and preseason games, I don't really want to bar of him at this stage, but I hope for his sake and for ours that he's out there and fit and running.
Yeah. Now, we've mentioned a few of the other players, but I'll just touch on one or two more that we didn't talk about. Adam Treloar, where do we sit with him? Because as a mid-price forward option, I've seen every time sort of he's in someone's team, and he's been in and out of mine already a few times, but people say, he'll just play VFL. This guy was a gun the year before, 311,000, and he's available as a mid-forward. If he is playing, he's just in my team.
It should be, but his body, he's had a lot of injury troubles. I mean, he's the one guy I've seen do 2 muscles in different legs at the same time getting injured when he did that salmon flop. So I reckon, you just need to be confident in his body, can you be? I don't know.
Yeah, that price, I don't know if you'd have to be, but even as somebody who's minutes ago recommended Jordan Ridley as someone to keep an eye on, Adam Treloar might be too injury prone. But it's a wait and see, I think. If you get a hint of anything, you can't risk it. But if he's fit and firing all preseason, then you've got to consider him.
And lastly, Patch, a guy for you, we didn't mention him in the sort of premium category, I say, is Christian Petrarca at the Suns now. He is in the top 20 most popular players, sort of rounding out. He's in at 18. Do you see him as a guy that's going to be in your team? 522,000 just for that reference, 60,000 less than Sheasel, but I feel like he's framing up as a lot of people's sort of second premium in their forward lines.
Yeah, I've got to see it first, because there's a lot of bodies playing through the midfield at the Suns. There's just so many guys that are just so good. And, Petrarca adds something a little bit different, so he'll see midfield minutes, but as to how much that is, I kind of want to see it first. And then, if he's an early upgrade, or if he's a mid-season, around the buys upgrade when you hope his price dips a little bit, or maybe he torches it in pre-season and we've got to start him. But at this stage, he's not in. But I expect him to be in pretty much everyone's finished team by the end of the season.
All right, love that. Just to finish off the show, we've been away for a while. We are starting lo-fi as well. You'll see we are online at the moment. We'll be back in the studios soon, no doubt. High definition to see our beautiful faces once again up close. But there has been some new rules. This is how long we've been going, Patch and Sim. The new rules and the fixture has sort of come in since we last spoke on a show. Now, just briefly, Patch, take us through. Do you think any of these new rule changes, if you haven't seen them, they've been out long enough now, you can check them out on Code Sports or any number of places, you would have seen the new rule changes. I think one that interests me is the new running, jumping, ruck rule that could have some impact. But any thoughts on the new rules and even some early fixture analysis that you have for us at this start of the season?
The rule stuff, I think, will have an impact, but what that impact is, I could not tell you for love or money. Gun to the head, I still couldn't tell you who's going to benefit from no longer wrestling in the ruck and being able to jump. I think it's probably good for Max Gawn, but beyond that, no idea. Absolutely no idea. Last disposal rules will be interesting, but we're going to have to wait and see on all of the rules for me. But as you've touched on, the buys are interesting this year, especially with the extra opening round game. So for people that aren't as familiar, the scores in opening round do not count. So they're not relevant for SuperCoach scores. They are relevant for price rises. So we want rookies from the clubs that play early, and we don't necessarily want premiums or a lot of premiums from that. But it does give us an extra set of buys for two clubs. So that's something to consider for Collingwood and St Kilda. So maybe that impacts how many Saints you can pick. Maybe it impacts whether or not you start Nick Dacos. That's something that still I haven't looked at closely, but needs to come out in the wash. But you mentioned that North are very friendly on the buy front.
Yeah, just they don't have the early buy, so they're one of the teams that have. I guess anyone that doesn't play opening round won't have those early buys. So they're the teams we kind of want to be targeting, I think, early on, especially for our premium players. But yeah, it is kind of annoying having, a guy like Nick Dacos has a buy in round 2. So it's hard. It's almost hard to pick him. And a guy that didn't feature in the top 20, I might add, was a Nick Dacos. I don't think featured, and also a Marcus Bontempelli didn't feature. So a lot of coaches early on looking at some of their schedules. Bont has GWS, Sydney and Hawthorn very early in his first 3 games, plus a round 3 bye. So that means he'll play 2 games and then have a bye. There's there is so much more analysis to be had in this preseason, but that is one that Al Payton did some early research into this, and Bont was one. He's like, I'm not sure about this. 700K, you've got to buy early, and you've got 2 potential tags in the first sort of month. So stuff to look out for early in the preseason. Patch, we got plenty more to go this preseason as well. 5 names. We had one final parting question though, as our resident Adelaide reporter, Al Payton. He's got another Port player on his mind this preseason. He's not thinking about the horny one again. He said he's on his never again list, unfortunately, for the horny one. Todd Marshall at 147K. Now, he had a season-ending injury last year. Now he's super cheap. 5 names. He's possibly playing in a different position.
Yeah, I reckon the plan is for him to play as a defender, which is kind of interesting. He's bulked up massively as well. He did his Achilles last preseason. just use the time, just go in the gym, become like a man mountain. But yeah, the plan looks like at the moment under Josh Carr is for Marshall to be, tall defender there. And, because I guess when you look at the tall guys they have at the moment, probably their kicking isn't that great. So, he's lovely kick, trying, so maybe he could be an interceptor and like a really nice kick out of defense for them. Like, I don't know how it's going to look in terms of Valiers if Radulea is if Thatcher's partnering Lear there. But yeah, it looks like the plan initially will be Todd Marshall in defence.
Like it. A nice little parting bit of news. $147,000 forward is Todd Marshall available. So perhaps another rookie for us to think about, to ponder in this early part of the preseason. Plenty more preseason to go on the SuperCoach official AFL podcast. Check us out wherever you listen and obviously watch on Code Sports. Like I said, we'll have the fancy little studios back up and running soon, so you can check us out there, subscribe and like if you haven't already. And we might drop some team reveals soon on the YouTube channel as well. So keep an eye out on Code Sports YouTube channel. Team reveals coming soon. We'll see you soon.
Merry Christmas, folks.
Merry Christmas, Dossy and Pat.